Attention Battalion 2, Engine 2, Engine 1, Engine 3, Engine 8, Truck 2, Rescue 1. Responded 212, Apartment E, Edward Maple Place. Building fire. Cross Street, North Elm Street, North Lindsay Street, Taxi Street for call.
Command Engine 1. If you can give us a quick evacuation of adjacent apartment.
Everybody out of business?
Welcome to another training session with the High Point Fire Department Training Division. Throughout the year, we'll be conducting rapid intervention skills training. This month, we're concentrating on the Pittsburg Drill and the skills it takes to make your way to a downed firefighter. The objectives are to enter the structure in a RIT capacity to locate a downed firefighter, navigate obstacles while implementing a plan of action to extricate the victim, secure the firefighter's air supply, safely move the firefighter to the designated area at the exterior of the structure through the first floor window. A rapid intervention team will be staffed at all structure fires per our general order. But let me give you some facts that appeared in an article in Fire Engineering magazine dated April of 2016 by Billy Goldfeder. 50% of victims of a Mayday are between the ages of 32 and 40. With 6 to 15 years of experience. 71% of the company officers stayed outside to be incident commanders, leaving their companies without supervision. A Mayday is 62% more likely to occur on an overtime shift. 67% of all Maydays are fall events. Stair collapse, slips, trips, through the floor and roof, or even off the roof. 11% only sounded the floor or the roof before walking on it. Of the Maydays involving roadway incidents, 80% of the victims were not wearing reflective vests. The number one issue is the lack of a 360 walk-around. 50% of the Maydays had no 360 at all. An additional 23% of the Maydays had an incomplete walk-around. 40% of the completed 360s confirmed the fire in a different location than reported. In air management emergencies, companies took too long to exit and waited until their bell was going off. When the bell is sounding, it's too late. Manage your air and exit before the low air alarm sounds. Crews ran out of air after getting into trouble while exiting with a low air alarm. If the low air alarm sounds while you are in the structure, notify command with urgent traffic and get out. Who rescued the downed firefighter? 22% performed a self-rescue. 25% was rescued by the same crew that the firefighter was with. 30% was rescued by an adjacent interior fire crew. 10% was rescued by the rapid intervention team. The preconceived notion in the fire service is that the RIT team rescues firefighters has been proven to be untrue. 90% are rescued by someone already operating inside the structure. This fact highlights and reinforces the importance in every firefighter being trained and drilled in saving their own procedures. If you're interested in reading more, you can Google Firefighter Mayday Reality versus Myth, Billy Goldfeder, April 2016, and read the entire article on Firefighter Mayday, some of the statistics and information that he provides within that article. Today we have John Terry with us, Captain on Engine 5. He's going to be taking us through some RIT team tools and skills and then walking us through the Pittsburg Drill.
Today we're going to talk about RIT, Rapid Intervention Crew, or RIT, Rapid Intervention Team Training. We're going to go over some of the basics. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the different types of equipment and tools that we can utilize, and some of the basic scenarios that we're going to go through and cover your RIT training for this month. First thing we need to understand and know is understand the NFPA standard 1407. That covers all information having to do with RIT. We're not going to get into that detail today, but I advise you to go in, take a look at that standard and go through there. That goes along with NFPA standard 1710 for career fire departments. It covers some of the equipment. It covers some of the crew recommendations there. When we start talking about the numbers that we want to have on as far as our RIT crew, we're looking at initial, or the IRIT crew. That's going to be our initial RIT crew on the initial scene of at least 2 firefighters with the proper PPE and the proper equipment to effect a quick rescue. As the scene develops and grows in magnitude, we're going to need to develop a bigger RIT team. Going by 1710 and 1407, we're going to look at least 1 officer and a minimum of 3 firefighters, proper PPE, proper tools and equipment to form a productive and a effective rescue of a downed firefighter. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. You'll go through and understand what that standard is. You'll also need to think about looking at our GO. We do have a GO currently where it covers our RIT crew. Make sure you go through and look on that at Power DMS under our 2009 standards. It is in the process of some revision, but go through and look at that GO so that you have a good understanding on there. Again, it covers your crew and it covers your equipment. Some of the things we want to think about when we're putting our equipment together, we want to be able to get in fast, find them fast, and get them out fast. So make sure that we're understanding that when we're putting our crew together. As the crew gets on scene, make sure you report to command. Make sure command understands that you are there as the RIT crew. Get your staging set up with whatever equipment that your crew is going to put together. Again, we're not going to be able to carry everything on the truck. Carry something that is basic, something that will help you and assist with that quick response in and quick response out. If you're on scene, advise command that you can perform any type of non-essential duties that are there, but you're not going to be able to get far from your RIT staging area. Make sure your commanding officer or whoever's on the crew, you need to be thinking about access points, how to get in, how to effectively make an access point, whether it's on the first floor or the second floor. So think about what you're doing there. Make sure you're looking at building construction. Make sure you're looking at and asking questions where the crews are, how many crews do we have in there, what type of operations are there. The other thing is make sure you are monitoring your radio. Have it ready, be dressed out PPE, ready to go. Not breathing air, but ready to go in a moment's notice. You need to be listening in the event that a mayday is called. You need to be also listening when that mayday is called, that you're going to be listening for lunar. Understand, go back through and understand the mayday process that we have and understand what lunar means so that you have a good idea of that information. Now we're going to talk a little bit about some of our basic equipment that we're going to utilize in a RIT operation. We have a whole lot of information and a lot of equipment that we have on our apparatus. You need to think about the things that are going to be most effective for you. Obviously, some of the basic equipment that we're looking at, you're definitely going to want to make sure you have all of your proper PPE on. You're going to want to have some type of lighting. You're going to want to have your thermal imager or TIC camera that you can utilize. Of course, if the ladder company or truck company is there, we definitely want to get the RIT pack off and make sure, again, go through and look at the PowerPoint presentation and the training that we went over on these new RIT packs. Make sure you understand the 2 different ends. One end has buddy breathing and mask connection. One end has the tank turn on and also the UAC quick connection so that you can bump air if needed. So make sure you understand and have that. You may want to have a spare bottle. If you're an engine crew and the truck company is not there yet and you don't have the RIT pack, think about what you can utilize. If you're working as a 3-man company that day, we can grab a spare air pack, or we grab a spare air pack off of one of the other trucks that are there. It can be utilized as our initial RIT pack until we get a truck company there. Remember, think about the size of the structure, the type of incident and a fire that we're dealing with. You may need more than 1 RIT crew, depending on location on the scene and where you need to be. So grab enough equipment and set up at least 1 staging area. You may need to set up a 2nd staging area. Some of the other equipment we're going to want to take with us, we probably want to have some type of search rope or a rope bag. We may want to have some rope hardware if it's possible, something that we can utilize if we needed to do some type of hoist, bring them up through a hole in the floor, or even lower them out the window. So make sure we have that as far as our search goes. Think about some type of forcible entry tool, whether it's a captain's tool, whether it's a 6-foot New York hook, a pike pole of some type. We've got our commercial irons, we have our residential irons that we could take in there. You want to take some type of forcible entry or some type of tool with you in the event that you need to force an entry, gain entry through a wall, a door, need to use it as some type of stabilization, or you can use some of this equipment, as you will see when we go through our scenarios. You can use some of this equipment to help effect a rescue or remove a downed firefighter. Something else we want to think about: what type of area am I working in? Am I coming into an area that's been collapsed, or do we just have a downed firefighter from possibly a medical emergency, a failed air pack? What are we thinking about? We need to be prepared for that. So think about some type of saws, whether it's a powered saw versus a K-12 versus a chainsaw. Do we need something electrical in a sawzall? What we have on our trucks. Think about all that equipment. And remember, something else to have is some type of ladder. Put it out there, 14 foot and a 24 minimum you should throw out there. Grab that Bolton ladder too. That Bolton ladder could be more than just gaining access to a building or into a residence. I can use that possibly as some type of stretcher or some type of backboard to get my firefighter on it up and out of a window. That's something else that you can practice in these scenarios. If a truck company is available or the rescue is there, the Stokes basket may be an option that we could utilize to be able to maintain and get that down firefighter out a little bit quicker and a little bit easier than trying to drag them. So make sure we're thinking about our equipment, make sure that we have the basics in there. Remember, we're not going to be able to take all of this stuff in with us. We're only going to be able to take a minimum amount of equipment, and there may be a potential where we're only bringing some of it out. Our goal is to get that down firefighter out. A good video to go watch on YouTube is to pull up the information from 2001 with Brett Tarver at Phoenix Fire Department and see what they went through on a basic fire that was under control, but they had a down firefighter. And when they went through all of their studies and working their crews, it took 12 firefighters to remove one firefighter. Doesn't mean that's going to happen on every incident or call that we go on, but you need to be aware of it's going to take several firefighters to work to get in there, depending on what they're covered up with, what has happened, the situation. So be thinking through all of these and just understand, look at what you're given, work with what you're given, and make the best effort that you can to get to that down firefighter, secure their airway, and secure them back to the outside. If they're loose of the debris, get them up and go. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time in there trying to decide what happened and what we can do. The faster we get them out and get them to a safe atmosphere, the better it's going to be and the easier it's going to be to work on. One of our RIT team scenarios, you're going to work on making entry into a building, either access through doors. With this one, we're going to work on making an entry in through a window. So you're going to size up your window that you're going in, think about how you're going to make entry. Once you've made entry in through and got into the window, make sure that you check the floor before you step down. Once you've checked that floor and secured that, maintain your positioning, get all of your personnel in. You're either looking for a hose line that's there, or you potentially need to use your search rope to guide you back to that point where you came in. Once you've located your hose or search line, you're going to follow that out as quickly as possible. You may have to go through a wall, whether it's a residential wall or a commercial wall, make access through that, see what you've got in there. Remember, you may have to navigate some type of electrical or utilities that are within the wall. If I need to leave them in place, you may have to use what's called a swim technique, where you sit down and put your air bottle in through the studs. You swim one arm back over your head and then bring your body through, turn onto your hips and slide through. We may have to navigate that, but just remember, you're going to go through a stud wall. You're going to maintain your search pattern. You're going to come to some type of obstacle that you're going to have to navigate over. So think about how we can navigate over those obstacles, again, doing it in a safe and effective manner. Make sure you're maintaining your equipment and your tools as you go. As you get through there, you're continuing your search. You're going to come to a limited or a smaller means of egress that you may have to pass through an area that's collapsed. It may be a tunnel. Remember, we do not take our air packs off to get in. If we have to, we're going to have to find a different opening. We will navigate back out in an emergency situation with the air pack off, but maintaining that pack close to you, never taking your hands off of it. So we're going to navigate through there. If it's a small opening, put your position, your bottle, so that you can put it in a limited means so that we'll not hang on anything. Try to work your way through that. Once you're through that obstacle, you're going to maintain that search pattern. You're going to get to that downed firefighter. Once you find your downed firefighter, you're going to secure them so that you're ready to travel with them. If you need to remove anything from them, think about the resources you're going to need to do that. First off, you want to definitely check their air pack. Look, make sure what condition they're in, what condition their pack is. Do they have air? Do they need the RIT pack up there to bump them and move them? Or are you going to have to physically connect them? So get them ready to travel. Think about the equipment that you're carrying, things that you can put in your pockets, other equipment that you can carry that's going to help you assist on moving that firefighter. You may have to navigate stairs. So think about how I'm going to go up a set of stairs, and think about how we'd have to come down a set of stairs, whether it's on a second floor or whether it's in a basement facility that we need to move there. Again, think about the equipment, think about how you're going to work. Always remember, if you get inside, and whether you're a 3-man company or a 4-man company, think about, if I need additional resources, go ahead and call for them as soon as possible. Don't wait until you're in a tight situation and get them, because it's going to take time to get them and their equipment in there. So go ahead and get that additional company in there, or companies, and get them staged so that we can work. Remember, you're working on a limited means of air also, so as soon as that happens for you, you're going to have to be out there in front, and you may have to turn over this rescue of a downed firefighter to an additional crew. Once you get them back through those obstacles, get them to the window, and we're going to get them out of the structure to a safe IDLH atmosphere where you can work with them and they can be passed off to EMS. Any type of technique, any type of tool that you want to utilize, as long as we do it in a safe and constructive manner, we want you to use some different techniques as you're going through this, making sure, again, on our safety. You will have an air pack with on our downed firefighter. They will be in full gear, so you're going to have to think through how you're going to do this and do it as effectively as you can. Some techniques that you can utilize will be some type of tool through their harness. We can use different types of ropes and knots if you needed to lash their hands together. Remember, you can make a handcuff knot so that their arms are not flailed to the side. We can bring them up, we can put it through their harness straps, we can strap their legs together with webbing. Again, anything that you can utilize, that you may utilize in a real scenario, we want you to work through this and practice these techniques so that you have a good understanding. Another technique that we're not going to concentrate on is, again, securing our downed firefighter in a safe place until we can get additional crews to them. That would mean removing them from a point of harm or hazard into a atmosphere that is not an IDLH atmosphere until we can maintain and get them from that atmosphere. So again, look at your techniques, make sure we put safety first, make sure we try different techniques, think about what you're doing as you're going through this, and treat it as the real deal so that in a real life situation, we'll be able to remove that downed firefighter as soon as possible. Remember, it is your option when you get inside. If you need additional help, then you call for additional help. You call for additional crews, and they will be there to assist you in removing that downed firefighter. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Well, that concludes this session of Rapid Intervention Team Training on the Pittsburgh Drill. I'll see you on the drill field.
This has been another No 4-Day production.
I'll get back.